And we want to say hello and welcome to everybody to this special program on a special occasion. Of course, we have with us, as you're seeing on your screen right now, Mr. Herman Peters, and he's also known as Mello. Hello and welcome to you, sir.
Welcome to you too.
All
Good
right, great.
evening.
All right, great. And so we are talking about the International Day of Persons with Disabilities, and it's a UN day that is celebrated every year on December 3rd. Of course, well, they basically recognize people living with disabilities, some of the challenges that you face, and of course, just getting into the kind of lifestyle that you live as people with disabilities. And of course, we are happy to have you with us. Folks, we have to let you know that Mr. Peters is the president of the organization here, that's the Grenada National Council of the Disabled. And of course, we're going to be talking to him about his life and what it is like living with a disability. So, Mr. Mello, let's take it off from here. Tell us about yourself. Tell us who you are.
Well, I'm Mello Peters. I live in Grand Anse, from River Road. Um, Easy person going, easy going, loving, understandable.
All right. Okay. All right. So, very simple. And talk to us about your disability. How did you end up with a disability?
Well, I used to play football. I was a soccer man, athletics, basketball. I used to play almost every sport. I was in Autumn's Club, member of Autumn Club, and we was playing it that day on the 1976 and things a Thursday afternoon against Hornbed. And I was on the pitch, but maybe 5-10 minutes before in the game, and traveled with the ball, and a guy slide tackled me, went up in the air, came back down, and that's it.
Wow.
Taken to the hospital, and that was it. Um, One thing I wanted to say, they didn't normally. Well, they wanted to cut off the foot, but one of them doctors and them there who was there before, from Dr. Topping, tell him you can't do that. You just keep the ligaments back together, and the foot was okay, but they didn't do a good surgery on the foot. So I flew to Barbados. We had spent almost a month there. The doctor tried their best, but tell me, look, they have to cut the foot off. So I settled for a cut off foot.
How was that reality for you when you were told that you would be losing one leg? How did that hit you? Talk to us about that moment when you were told that.
Well, I want to be honest. Wasn't scared. It seemed to me my mind was prepared for it already.
Okay.
Because I feel in my spirit, I felt in my spirit I'm going to lose the leg, because the doctor told me that the leg is far gone. He's going to try his best to see what he can do. And then he came back with the result after 3 to 4 days and said, well, look, son, I have to cut the foot off. I told him, go ahead, take it off.
Oh boy. And so you were very active in football and so on when you had your both legs. And now there was this accident and you were told that you had to remove one of your legs, and so you did so. What was it like transitioning from having the two legs to one? How difficult of a process was that? What were some of the challenges?
Well, to me, it wasn't so much a difficult thing, because I prepared myself for it anyhow. But it takes some time to really adjust. You know what I mean? Being and following what kept me going to being a Christian. I accepted Christ just maybe a year, and I think that'll keep me going through that process.
Ah, because usually that's a tough thing for people to experience, and it will be very hard moving, having to be able to moving from doing things for yourself and then now having to get support and having people assist you with things. So for you to say that you accepted Christ just around that time and you were able to rely on God, that's really good. That's a nice story there. Now, what about social and psychological support? Did you get that at all from friends, family, or even professionally?
Yeah, well, I got a lot of help. Well, especially from the club I was in, Autumn's Club. And then the public really came out and gave me a big support. Everybody was sorry because knowing that I was the kind of guy I was and a good footballer, good athletics, and well, a good sportsman. And to lose your leg like that, they know that I've lost somebody good, you know.
Wow, yes, yes. Now, you are the president of the Council of the Disabled here. How long have you been serving on that board, and what motivates you to continue serving for so long?
Okay, well, normally I was one of the guys help one of the men on organizing this council. 30 something years ago with Joe Bud and Lap Stevenson, who is dead. They both are dead now. And this man, a guy from Jamaica came, Derek Palmer came to Grenada and was trying to set up the council, and he had met us and we accepted it in 1985.
Hmm. Wow. And from then you've been serving, and what keeps you going? What keeps you wanting to serve on the board, or as a member, in fact, as a president, the chief, the commander in chief of the organization?
Okay, well, I want to be honest is that in the past when people been disabled and lost a leg, they was kept inside the house.
Yes.
And nobody really every people was feared to bring them out then because you're disabled or you couldn't speak or you're deaf. You understand what I mean?
Hmm.
And when I lost my leg, I realized I didn't want to go through that. I didn't go through that kind of process. I don't want
Right.
to go on the street and beg. I don't want to go on the street and beg. And furthermore, the people that I used to work in a hotel, it was holiday in the days gone by.
Right.
And they was one of my strong support. A lady who called Miss Hood, you know, she was one of my strong support. She was the secretary at the time for in the hotel. And when I lost and I transformed, she helped kind of help change my life around because I was a security guard at the time.
Yes. Okay. Wow.
And when I came back to the hotel, they put me to do work on the telephone. They had a switchboard, so that transformation kind of changed my life around.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So they remained supportive, even if you were not
Yeah,
able to do the same task that you did prior.
yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's interesting. Now, life in itself has a lot of challenges, so many challenges. What would you say are your biggest challenge being somebody who's living with such a disability as losing one leg?
Well, I don't have so much of a big of a challenge. I learned to accept my disability. That's the most important. I learned to accept that this disability. Yeah.
Okay, all right. And talk to us about your business, because I understand that you have a really successful business operation going. And how did that get started?
Okay, it started because of my aunt. I used to live in the road with a lady called Miss Clyde. She's dead. She's deceased now. She's dead. And she used to sell in the market. And that she used to do snowball and cakes and different things. And living at her, learned to bake. I left school very early, at the age of 12.
Okay.
And she was my inspiration. My mother wasn't around. I had no father around. She was my inspiration.
And so you
So
learned to
when I
bake.
left her, yeah, I learned to bake just cake. And then in River Road they had a bakery in River Road. That's the second house in River Road when they formed the cemetery. There was a bakery there. A lot of people might know that. And I used to pass there sometimes watching them guys. That time we didn't have no machine. They had to use their hands. So one day my aunt asked me if I could make bread, and I tell her yes. And so we bought flour, and I make bread for my aunt. And that was it.
Yeah. So since then you've been baking bread and what else? Bread primarily?
Bread, cake, pastries, doing everything. Almost
Yeah.
20 years now.
Almost 20 years now. And that's been
Yep.
going really, really good, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the name of your
And
business?
one of my, before you ask Nick, one of my full motivation was Mr. Handel, Peter Handel.
Peter
That's
Ander.
the man who have Handel Associates.
Talk to us about that.
No, he was a good man, because what happened, I used to be in Wester Hall in the Ollies. That's where I started to bake. And then one day the lady wanted to sell the machines for me, so I called him in and he said, well, you're going to help me. But she jack up the price, so I told him, let's forget it. Then I went to Grenville and worked with him. After a couple of years, we went River Road. I remember they had a bakery in River Road. And from there, I spent, I think, about 4 to 5 years with him. Then he told me, look, you had to go on your own. I had already set up a little thing in house and scheme. I want to do babysitting. I want to do a shop. But, the bakery came into my system.
Ah.
And then he came and looked at it. And he said, man, look, I'm going to help you. Give me an oven, some flour, materials to start. I had to mix with my hands. I did it for a couple of years. I got a small machine, and today, God has helped me have a couple of ovens, two big machines. You know what I mean?
Wow. And that's good. At the time of helping you, were you already disabled?
Yeah,
All right. Well, that's good. I mean, that you have people who came to your aid at the time, and to date, based on that kind of intervention in your life, you're still able to keep your business going. Can you tell us more about your business in terms of the name of your business, its location?
okay. The name of the business is Golden Cross Bakery, but on it is Mello Golden Cross Bakery.
Okay, okay, and your
In
location?
Grandance House, it's in Grandance House and Scheme.
All right. And people come there and get the bread and the pastries and stuff.
Yes,
Okay. Nice, nice, nice.
I still have a van going now too. I have a van go sell some bread out. Just go and sell bread outside too.
Okay, all right, good. And how do you get around? Do you have prosthetics? Or you use
No, no, no. Have one, but it's better to use the crutches than the prosthetic. Too much hills, too much step to climb. Yeah, when you go to an office, most of the boss offices upstairs. They have no elevator, nothing to help you to go upstairs.
so you use the crutches.
Yeah, and it's easier too.
Hmm.
Faster to, faster to move around.
Okay, all right. That's what. At least you have
If
that.
rain fall, if rain falling, I has no problem.
Okay, okay. I mean, you're so light spirited about this. I hope that people who are disabled as well, probably who lost a leg or so, is able to look at this program and see that. I mean, like yourself, as living with a disability for so long, and you have. I mean, so far we've asked you many questions, and I don't get the sense that this situation has hindered you in any way in achieving what it is that you want to achieve. And so that's a good life story right there for others who might be challenged with the same thing.
Yeah, that one before you go, I want to show. Look, in 1988, if you recall, I think maybe you're wrong, or you was too young. I don't know
Yeah.
your age. I walk around Grenada about almost 5 times, 6 times on
Yeah.
crutches,
What?
just to motivate. Yes, I started in 1988.
Oh, wow.
Walk a ton of hope, walk a ton of hope, hands around the nation. You understand?
Right.
I'm going to show you, I want to give you a little insight. Like this was in 1988
Right.
when I started. Walk a ton of hope.
Nice. Nice. Were you are you al- also one of those who used to come around, going to the various villages around the time of that? And I remember, let me tell you what I remember in those years. They used to have um, The DJs on the road, the people with
Yes,
disability walking, and they had the song "Join Hands Together." Was that the song?
yes, yes.
Show the world that
That
you
was it.
care. That was you
Yeah, that
guys,
was
right?
it.
Yeah, I remember those years. Like I was living in Guelph at the time, in the 80s. As you're saying, 88, 89, all these years. I'm a guy of the 80s, and I remember that happening every year. And then after a while, it stopped happening.
Well, after a time, things get slow.
Right, right.
And my parents is from Guava.
Oh, okay. Interesting, interesting. But I
Yeah, but I tell
probably,
you,
I
you know
probably.
them too.
I don't know. Maybe I did. Maybe I do. What are the names?
Chad,
Chad, which Chad?
Chad Peters,
Of course, yes.
and Junior, the
Yes, sir.
police.
Yes, sir. They live at Waterloo.
Yes,
Right.
that's where my parents is from.
Ah, okay. So I know where.
The house, the house where Kakadimo is, Kakadimo building,
Yes.
with Gemma Pass and the Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
That old house on the other side of the road, that's my grandparents' house.
Okay. Okay. Well, you see, it's indeed it's a small world. Hey, it's a small world because I know the entire family. I thought I wouldn't,
Yes,
but I do know them. I do know them. Okay.
and Miss Margaret Williams, close
Right.
brother.
Margaret Williams.
Um,
That's in Douglaston. Margot.
yes, yes.
Okay. Yes, I know them as well.
Um, Dread by Sheepwell School.
Yes. Well, you are go half man.
Marilyn Ferguson, who was immigration officer,
Right. That's your family
and
as
her
well.
sister. That's my relative. Yeah, a strong one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you have some age under your belt too.
Yes,
Well, you don't look that way
but
though.
you want me to tell you?
Yes, tell me.
73.
Wow. I was gonna say 63.
No, no, man, 73.
Wow. Well, you look good for your age, of course. I guess as much
Thanks.
you're very particular about your diet as well.
Yeah, well, I eat anything and almost everything.
Okay, but you look great for your
It's just
age.
that it's just that I take care of myself.
Okay, okay. Well, that's good.
I
That's
eat a,
good.
I eat a lot. Well, I eat a lot. I still eat the natural food. Block of fig, dashing tanya, drink
Right,
fish broth.
right,
I don't
right.
follow up too much. I don't eat Kentucky fried chicken, all them kind of stuff.
Okay, you stay away from the fries.
Not really. I eating it, but I don't eat Kentucky chicken and them kind of
Okay,
thing.
okay, okay. All right. So you stay away from the fast food. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. I see. Well, thanks for that tip. So, Mr. Mello, before we go, right, I know that there are a lot of people who might be looking at this program and looking for some sort of support or advice, and you've given so many already. What advice, if there's one, that you would like to give to other young men and women who are physically challenged and they probably might be finding it hard to cope?
First, I must tell them I must trust in the Lord. Give God a trust. Two, yeah, I mean, everyone of them go to school. Not everybody can be a doctor, a lawyer, a judge. You understand what I mean? You go to school, learn, pick up a skill. Because if you can't get a work in the bank, then you have your skill. No work is too small for somebody to do because you have 10 and 15 subject. If it's a mason work you get for the time you do it. If you go for a place for a man for a job, for a secretarial job and they didn't have it available and they say, well, look, we can put you in the front desk, take the work and tell and show and do your best.
Right,
I always believe that if you don't like the job, don't give no trouble leaving. And if you want to work to your best ability. That the boss know that you have 10 subject. You know that you're qualified for a certain job, but you cannot just move the person who was there. You understand? To
right,
put unless they put in that person higher up. But what is the available job you have now is to work in the front desk. So take the job.
Yeah, until you move from this to wherever you want to be, right? It takes a time. It will take
But
some
he
time.
know, yes, but he know definitely what you could do.
Right.
And to
Right.
disabled people, I want to say, and to the disabled, I want to say, take a picture from me. You know, most of them, yes, you lost your leg, but they have a skill, but they're not using it. They rather go on the side of the road and beg, drink rum, and you know, I didn't do that. I didn't choose to do that. I could have, but I choose not. And look at me today, you know. I'm not the best. I still have my little ups and downs, little mortgages to pay, but I'm okay.
Mm.
You know, so
Um,
I encouraging disabled people and the able-bodied people, especially the younger ones, especially the young men who sits on the side of the road and want rather sell drugs and all this kind of stuff, and then rather fight and go to prison. He don't helping them. And furthermore, when they're ready to get somebody to talk about them, the person they can't say go for a police record because things are so bad. I want to encourage our young people to we can take this country forward by storm. You know, I have done my part. I'm still doing it, and I want to encourage them to just not to give up. Where there is hope, you know, like there's a way. Small as it is, do it. You understand? Small as it is, just do it. It's something coming in. You understand? And after that, you can move on with a business. You start small, just like I did. I start small, you know,
all right.
and
Yeah.
I'm still striving. I haven't given up.
Yes, a very, very, very profound message for both the disabled and the abled bodied persons, as you say, and we appreciate those words of advice and encouragement. Mr. Mello, it's been a pleasure. We really wanted to have this conversation with you today, given that you're someone who has lived the life, both lives, being able to have both legs and now only having one, and doing what you did back then when you had both legs and doing what you do now and still being able to be happy, being able to provide a life for yourself, support for other families, employment for others as well, being somebody who, as they say, with a disability. So of course your story is an inspiration to me, and I'm sure it will be to many as well. We want to thank you again for being on the program, and wish you all the best as we continue to observe this occasion, the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. We thank you very much.
I want to thank you too for having me on. May God bless you and your family.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Mr. Mello.
Okay, thanks.
All right, folks, and that's Mr. Mello, and of course, he is the president. In fact, his name is Herman Peters, and he's also known as Mr. Mello. All right, and he is the president of the Grenada National Council of the Disabled. He is one of the longest serving member of that organization, and he remains committed to the organization and of course to being a support for those who are in a similar situation like himself. We thought it very important and necessary to have this program at this time, and of course we want to thank you for your participation. We want to thank you for your viewership, and we wish all of you all the best, and again to the rest of the world, happy International Day of Persons with Disability.